What if some of Argentina's biggest football stars suddenly found themselves facing major consequences in European football? That is the dramatic claim surrounding the latest controversy involving Argentine players, FIFA, UEFA, and several major European clubs. Reports and online discussions have raised serious questions about player behavior, disciplinary action, and the future of Argentine stars in European competitions. But what is actually confirmed and what is simply speculation? Today, we are breaking down the entire story, separating the major claims from what has actually been established. So stay with me, because this story involves some of the biggest names in world football. Argentina has produced some of the most talented footballers in the world. From Lionel Messi to Julian Alvarez, Lautaro Martinez, Enzo Fernandez, and many others, Argentine players have become a major part of European football. But talent is not the only thing that matters in football. Professional players are also expected to follow disciplinary rules, respect opponents, clubs, officials, and the competitions they represent. That is why recent controversy involving Argentine players has attracted so much attention. There have been claims about confrontations on the pitch, offensive behavior, and disciplinary consequences. At the same time, some reports have gone much further, suggesting that certain Argentine players could face extremely serious restrictions. So let's go through the story step by step. The controversy began with incidents involving Argentine players and their opponents. Some of the most heated moments came after matches, when emotions were already running extremely high. Physical confrontations and verbal exchanges quickly became major talking points among fans. Social media amplified the situation even further. Clips from matches spread rapidly, with supporters on both sides accusing the other team of disrespectful behavior. However, it is important to make one thing clear. A viral video or social media accusation is not automatically proof of an official punishment. Disciplinary decisions have to come from the relevant football authorities. And that distinction is extremely important when discussing this story. Premier League consequences. The Premier League has become one of the most important destinations for Argentine footballers. A number of Argentine internationals currently play or have recently played in England. That means any serious disciplinary controversy involving Argentine players could potentially have consequences for clubs as well as the players themselves. There have been claims that clubs could consider moving certain players on if their behavior creates serious problems. But again, fans should be careful with reports claiming that entire groups of Argentine players are being removed from English football. Those claims require official confirmation. Transfers happen for many different reasons: performance, finances, tactics, contracts, and personal decisions. It would be misleading to automatically connect every transfer involving Argentine player to this controversy. Enzo Fernandez. One of the biggest names connected to the discussion is Enzo Fernandez. The Chelsea midfielder has been at the center of controversy before, particularly because of incidents involving international football. His name has also frequently appeared in transfer speculation. However, claims that every major European club has rejected him or that he has officially been placed on some kind of football blacklist should not be treated as established fact without direct confirmation from the clubs or football authorities involved. That is an important distinction. Transfer rumors can spread incredibly quickly. One report says a club is interested, another report says the club is not interested, then social media turns those conflicting reports into a completely different story. So when it comes to Enzo Fernandez, the safest approach is to focus on confirmed transfers, official club statements, and verified disciplinary decisions. Other Argentine stars. Enzo is not the only Argentine player whose future has been discussed. Julian Alvarez has also been linked with major clubs during his career, while Emiliano Martinez has repeatedly attracted attention because of his performances and personality. But transfer speculation should not automatically be interpreted as punishment. Players wanting a transfer is normal in professional football. Clubs also make decisions based on sporting strategy, finances, contracts, and squad planning. So while the controversy has created plenty of headlines, each player's situation needs to be examined separately. UEFA and FIFA. Now we come to perhaps the biggest claim in the entire story. There have been suggestions that Argentine players could somehow be prevented from participating in major European competitions because of political disagreements or alleged support for FIFA leadership. This is an extraordinary claim. And extraordinary claims require strong evidence. UEFA and FIFA are separate governing organizations with their own rules, competitions, and disciplinary procedures. A player cannot simply be banned from the Champions League because of nationality. Any serious sporting suspension would need to follow the applicable regulations and disciplinary process. So if you see headlines claiming that Argentine players are automatically being removed from European competitions, look for an official UEFA or FIFA announcement before believing them. Gianni Infantino. FIFA President Gianni Infantino is also mentioned heavily in discussions surrounding this controversy. FIFA has faced criticism from fans and football figures over the years, and Infantino has been at the center of plenty of debate. But accusations involving corruption, secret agreements, bribery, or coordinated punishment are serious allegations. They should not be presented as established facts unless supported by credible evidence or official investigations. That is especially important for a sports news channel. We can discuss allegations and public criticism, but we should clearly distinguish those claims from proven facts. Possible disciplinary sanctions. Another major part of the story involves potential suspensions. If a player commits serious misconduct during or after a match, the appropriate football authority can investigate the incident. Depending on the rules and the evidence, possible consequences can include fines, suspensions, or other disciplinary measures. But the exact punishment depends on the specific incident and the relevant regulations. So claims about a guaranteed 9-match suspension, for example, should be treated as unconfirmed until the responsible authority officially announces the decision. The fact that an incident was shown on television does not automatically mean the final punishment has already been decided. There is still a disciplinary process. And that process matters. What if Argentine players left Europe? Now let's consider the bigger hypothetical question. What would happen if a large number of Argentine players suddenly stopped playing in Europe's biggest leagues? European football would certainly notice. Argentina produces an enormous amount of elite football talent. But Europe also has access to players from Brazil, France, Portugal, England, Spain, Germany, the Netherlands, and many other football nations. So European clubs would eventually find alternatives. The biggest impact would probably be felt by the players themselves and by Argentine football. Young Argentine footballers rely heavily on European competition to develop at the highest level. Playing every week against elite opponents helps players improve technically, tactically, and physically. Losing that pathway could create problems for future generations. And this is where the story becomes much bigger than one player or one controversial match. Football is built on competition. But it is also built on rules. Players can be passionate, they can celebrate, they can argue, they can become emotional. But there are limits. When those limits are crossed, disciplinary authorities have to decide what happens next. At the same time, fans should demand evidence before accepting dramatic claims online. A viral post is not the same thing as an official announcement. A transfer rumor is not the same thing as a completed transfer. And an allegation is not the same thing as a proven violation. That distinction is especially important in today's football media environment. So could Argentine players really face massive consequences in European football? At this point, the most dramatic claims should be treated cautiously unless they are confirmed by the relevant football authorities. There is clearly controversy surrounding certain incidents and players, but that does not automatically mean that an entire generation of Argentine footballers is about to be banned from European football. The final decisions will depend on official investigations, disciplinary procedures, club decisions, and confirmed announcements. And one thing is certain. This story is far from boring. What do you think? Should football authorities punish players more severely for serious misconduct, or are some of these reactions going too far? Let me know your opinion in the comments. And if you want more football news, major FIFA stories, transfer developments, and World Cup updates, make sure to subscribe to Sports 360. Thanks for watching.